Dare I correct the question setters on television's most difficult quiz? You bet I dare, especially if it has anything to do with the German language. Fortunately, in this case, it didn't affect the scores, so I'm not going to suggest that somebody got points that they didn't deserve or were cheated out of points that they did deserve. But still, the quiz in question is called Only Connect, and it's in the form of a knockout tournament. Every year, teams of 3 compete to win a trophy. There are no massive cash prizes. People take part in this because they enjoy the intellectual challenge, and I think that's just wonderful. Like most of the best games, the rules are very simple. Teams are shown up to 4 clues and have to say what they all have in common. The fewer clues they need, the more points they score. But the clues are made really, really tough. Take a look at this real and very typical example. What is the connection between these clues? Any idea? Well, if you put little in front of the first word of every clue, you get a nickname for the rest of the clues. So, for example, Bucharest is known as Little Paris, Tchaikovsky's Second Symphony is known as The Little Russian, and so on. So, in the most recent episode, there was a question that required a little knowledge of the German language, which is why it's interesting for me. And the team that was asked it managed to get the answer after just 3 clues.
We think they're all either artworks or video games or things like that set in a parallel history where Germany won the Second World War.
Exactly so. You didn't even need Vaterland at the end there.
So, these are the literal German translations of the English titles of various forms of entertainment and literature, which are all set in an alternate timeline in which Germany won the Second World War. That was the answer they were looking for. So, that is the novel Making History, the computer game Wolfenstein: The New Order, the novel and TV series The Man in the High Castle, and the novel Fatherland. I was going to complain that a better translation for the third clue might be Der Mann in der Hohen Burg, because I assumed that we would want to imply some kind of fortress-style castle rather than a mere place of residence. But I thought I'd better just check up on that one first. It doesn't help that the German version of the TV show just uses the English title. I presume that means they just save money on having to make a new title card. But the German translation of the novel has the title Das Orakel vom Berge, which doesn't mean exactly the same thing and so isn't really very helpful. Anyway, after spending a lot more time than it was really worth researching it, I came to the conclusion that the character Hawthorne Abenson is referred to in the German translation as Der Mann im Hohen Schloss. So, fair enough. But what I am going to criticize is this. In keeping with the theme of the question, the writers decided to translate the answer into German as well, and this is what they came up with.
Wenn Deutschland World War II gewonnen hat.
I won't criticize the host Victoria Coren Mitchell's pronunciation because that would just be nitpicky. But it won't surprise you to learn that the German translation of World War II is not World War II. That's just lazy. But even worse is the last word. The way the sentence is written, it means if Germany has won the Second World War. And that would mean that it's possible that Germany did win it, except that we all know that Germany didn't win it. The scenario in which Germany won is not real, at least not in this version of the universe. So these novels, games and shows all take place in a hypothetical reality that does not in fact exist. To do this in English, we usually use a past tense. If Germany had won. In German, we use the subjunctive mood. The English language does have a subjunctive mood, but it's quite rare and it's in the process of dying out. The German subjunctive mood, on the other hand, is alive and well, and it's used for reported speech and for talking about things that are only hypothetical. In this case, we're talking about an event that didn't happen in the past, and for that we need the past tense in the subjunctive mood. So what the host should have said was, wenn Deutschland den Zweiten Weltkrieg gewonnen hätte. As I said, it didn't affect the scores. The team got the points they deserved, and that's the most important thing. But if you are writing for TV's toughest quiz, I think you should be held to a particularly high standard. So, what is the connection between these 4 words? Like, comment, subscribe, and share.